File handling in Python. File handling involves creating a file, writing a file, opening a file, reading a file, update it, close it, and then delete it. So we have different modes for handling the file. First is R, that is read mode. So it is the default value. So when we open a file in Python without specifying the mode, so by default it opens in read mode. So if file does not exist, it will raise the error. Next is append mode, that is represented by letter A. So it opens a file for appending, that is appending the text at the end of the file. So if a file already exists and it contains some data, so new data will be appended at the end of the file and previous data will not be lost. So it creates the file if the file does not exist. Next is W, that is write mode. So it opens a file for writing and creates the file if it does not exist. But if a file exists and it contains some data and we opened it with W mode, then it will truncate all the previous data and it will override the new data. So previous data will get lost here. Next is X, that is create. So it creates the specified file and returns an error if the file exists. In addition, we can specify if the file should be handled as binary or text mode. So for that we have T, that is text mode. So default value, it is a default value. So by default, if we don't mention it, then file will be opened in text mode. Then next is B, that is binary mode. So we have to specify by writing the B in the mode specifier, and these are commonly used for images, PDF files, etc. Then we have plus operator. So basically it is a mode. So it represents opening a file for updating, that is reading and writing both. We can create combination of these modes. So below are some examples. So we have R plus. So R basically stands for reading. But if we write R plus, then it opens a file for both reading and writing. The file pointer will be placed at the beginning of the file. So next is RB plus, as name represents. It opens a file for both reading and writing, but in binary format. The file pointer is placed at the beginning of the file here as well. Next is W plus. So it opens a file for both writing and reading. So it overwrites the existing file if the file exists. If the file does not exist, it creates a new file for reading and writing. Next we have WB plus. So it opens a file for both writing and reading in binary format. It overwrites the existing file if the file exists. If the file does not exist, it creates a new file for reading and writing. So below are the ways to open a file. So first is we can use open method. We can provide file name or file path as a first parameter, and then next we need to provide the access mode. So here we have written W. Next we have another way of writing the so before that we have used O file as a variable name. So this is a kind of file pointer or file operator or object. So we can use this object to write the data and close the file. Next is we have with that is context manager. So using that we can open a file. So again it uses the open method, and we have O file as variable or the file object, and we can use this O file and in the with block, and we can use that for writing the data. So we don't have to I mean the difference between these two ways are in the second way we don't have to bother about the exceptions or closing the file. it will automatically close the file. But if we go with the first approach, then we need to close the file manually after all the operations are done. So now let's jump over some practical examples. Now we will write a code to create a file in Python. So before that, I will create one directory. So we can right click, then click on new, and then and in that we will try to create a file through Python program. So for creating a file, we can use open method. In that we will write file path. So before that, let's have the directory path here. So it is demo, and then we have file name. Let's say we have file name a.txt. Now we will use these variables. So we will create a file path. We will use a library, which is OS, and to create a file path, we can use os.path.join, then directory name, and then file name. So we are using this library because irrespective of the OS, like Windows or Ubuntu, so they both have different file path. So Ubuntu contains slash, and Windows contain backslash. So irrespective of that, we can use os.path.join, and it will create the file path according to the operating system. So now we have created the file path. So we will call the open function, which takes first argument as file path, and then second argument as the mode. So we will use write mode here. Now we want to write anything. So how we can do is ofile dot write, and in that we can pass any string. Let's say this is a first sentence, and then we can close the file. So ofile dot close, this method will close the file after writing the sentence. So let's run this program. So this program is finished, and let's check. So in the demo folder, we have a.txt file. We can open that. So here we can see our string is written in the file. This is the first sentence. Let's close it. What if I rerun this program? So this W mode, which is write mode, it will just delete this file, create a new one, or if it exists, it will truncate the file. So currently it exists, so it will truncate the file. That means it will remove all the data from this file, and then it will write this sentence in the new file, and it will close the file. So basically, this a.txt will again contain only a single sentence. I've rerun this code. Now let's check a.txt. So here we can see it contains only single line. So now what if I change this W to A, that is append mode. So it will open this file and it will, or the pointer will move to the end of the file, and then it will write this sentence. So I will update this sentence. This is a second sentence, and then it will close the file. Let's run this program. So we have opened the file in append mode. So it will write or append this sentence at the end of the existing file. So let's open this. So here we can see after the at the end of this file, this is the second sentence is written. So we can write another sentence in the new line. How we can write that? So we can use /n, \n. We can write this is a third line. We can rerun this program. So now this new line will be in the new line. This is a third sentence. Otherwise, it could have appended here only. So this is a way of opening a file, writing a file, and then closing a file. We can look for the things like this O file or this file object contains. So we can print O file dot. We can have file name. So I will use formatted string here. File name. Then we can print the mode, file mode. Is it append mode or write mode? For that, we can use file.mode. Then we can print whether this file is closed or not. For that, we can write O file dot. And once we close the file, then again we can check. Let's run this program. So here we can see the output. File name is demo/a.txt. So this is the actual path. Then file mode is append mode. And then is file closed? First is false because here we have not closed the file. Then we have run ofile.close, which will close the file. And then again we have checked is file closed. So now it becomes true. So this is the file variable through which we have printed these data. Now there is another way to open a file. So here we can see there are chances of exceptions, like maybe this directory is not present. If I change the directory, let's say I've removed the O, and let's run this program. So here we can see file not found error, no such directory. So what we can do is, I mean, if these, and here also we need to write O file.close. I mean, we can forget closing the file. So what we can do is we can use with operator. I will remove this as well, and we can write it like this: with open as file, and all the file operations will be in this block. with block. So this with block is uh, automatically with block automatically handles the exceptions, and also it automatically close the file at the end. So it's good if we use with open block. So let's use W here. So it will truncate all the existing data and it will print this string. This is the first sentence. Let's run this program. So this program is executed. Let's check the file. So here we can see this sentence. Now, what if we want to write multiple lines? So we need to write o file dot write multiple times, right? This is we can use backslash n. If I run this program, we can check the output. So here we have two sentences. What if I want third sentence, fourth, fifth, five? So we need to write o file dot write again and again. So if we want to skip that, what we can do is we can have a list of sentences like lines, and we can copy this, and instead of o file dot write, so this o file is just a variable. We can write any name here. So instead of write, we will use write lines, and in that we will pass the list of strings. We can, I mean, here I have manually created the list of a string, but what we can do is we can have a paragraph in which we can do the separation by full stop, and we can have a list of lines, and we can write it in a, I mean, every sentence in a new line. So currently I have used these two sentences only. So this is a list of sentences or list of strings. We can use write lines to write all the lines at a time. So let's run this program. We can see the output here. So we have two lines here. So this is how write lines work. Now, how to read a file? Since we have already created a file, now how to read it? So there are multiple ways. So first we will use the read method. So for read, okay, I will just remove this. For reading, we need to change the mode. We can use R, read mode. We can rename variable as ifile, or we can keep it as it is. That's not a problem. Then we have read method. Read method will read the complete file and it will return the data, and then we can use that data. So here I am printing that data just to showcase what this file contains. And we don't have to write o file.close because we are using context manager, this using with keyword. So it will automatically close the file after this print statement. Let's run this program. Here in the output, we can see these two lines. This is the first sentence, this is second sentence. So these sentences are present in a.txt. So let's say I will directly update this text file and I will add one more sentence. This is third sentence. I will save it. And now let's run this program again. And let's check the output. Now we are getting 3 lines. What read is doing? It is reading complete file and returning the data. And we have printed that. So what if I want to read first line only? So what I will do? Instead of read, I will use read line method. So let's check what read line returns. So it returns single sentence or a single line basically. So what if I re-execute this? So after printing the data, I will again run the read line and again print the data. So here we can see it prints the second line as well. So if I third time again write the same sentences, so it will print the third line as well. What will happen if I print it 4 times? Since we have only 3 lines here, but we are now reading 4 times. So let's check. So it has returned only 3 sentences. At fourth time, it is not printing anything. So instead of doing this, what we can do? We can write it in a single line. How? Not a single line, but in a good way. Instead of rewriting the same lines again and again, we can use line equals to profile dot read line. I will just comment this code. So now we have read the first line. What we will do? We will write a loop while line. So line will contain a string, and if it is the end of the file, it will be empty string. So for empty string, this loop will terminate, but for the string which is not empty, it will execute. So we will get the first line. So while condition will be true, and we can remove the redundant parenthesis as well. So we will print line, and then again we need to read the line so that it can be checked in the while loop. I mean at the 10th line. So file dot read line. That's it. So irrespective of number of lines in the text file or any file which we are reading, so we can use this code to print all the lines one by one instead of writing profile.readline for every line. So let's run this program. So here we can see all the 3 lines are printed. So this is about the read line. So there is one more thing, like when we open the file in read mode, the file pointer is at the 0th index or at the 0 location. So we can write a print statement like file dot tell. So it will tell the position of the current index where the pointer is. So at the initial it will be at the starting point. Then after reading one line, it will change. So we can print again file dot tell. So this is just for the information, like we have a tell function which returns the current index or current position of the pointer which is reading the file. So at the starting it is at 0 index, then it reads first line, and after that it is at 27th index. So if we count this, so it will be 26. So it is at 27 now. Now once it reads the second line, so its position gets changed. So it becomes 53. And once it reads third sentence, its position changes to 78. So this tell will return the current position of the pointer. So there is one more method, seek method. So seek method will, we can redirect the pointer to a particular location in the file using seek method. So let's say I will remove this while loop and use the same data. Let's say we are printing 2 times. I will remove this. So here we are printing, reading first line, printing it, then reading second line and printing it. Let's check the output. So we have first sentence, then second sentence. Now, what if I change profile dot seek? What if I change the position of the pointer to again 0? That is starting of the file. Will it print the second line? No, it will print the first line again. Let's check. So here we got first sentence 2 times. So this is all about seek and tell methods. So we have understood read method, which reads all the data of a file. Then we have understood about read line, which reads line by line. Then we have one more method, read lines. Let's check what it do. So I will directly use read lines. Let's run. Here it prints the list of sentences or list of lines. So read lines will return list of lines. So basically it will also reads the file completely, but it will return the list of lines instead of complete text as a string. Now we can print this one by one as well. Like we can write it as lines. So this is a list. So to print each line separately, we can use for loop for line in lines print line. Let's run this program. So here the line is printed one by one from the list lines. Now this is all about creating a file, adding text in a file, and then reading the text from the file. Now we will check how we can delete a file. So for that, we will again use the OS library. So we will first check if os.path.exist. We'll check the file path, complete file path. If it exists, then os.remove file path. Let's run this. So we have folder demo and then we have a.txt. So this file path is a complete file path, demo/a.txt. Let's run this program. So this program is completed and we can see here only demo folder is remaining, but file a.txt is removed or deleted. So how to delete the folder? So to delete a folder, we have os.rmdir. So I will comment this code as this file does not exist, but we can, since we have used if loop or if condition, so it will turn false because file path does not exist, so it will not execute this os.remove. So let it be as it is. I will write os.rmdir and then the directory we have demo. So let's run this program. So here program executed successfully, and now we can see there is no folder demo. This is all about file handling in Python.